welcome to yet another part of e-commerce specialist course series, and today we will talk about the remote culture and career building. Also, the top 5 remote companies that are placed globally and hire globally. Also, the top 5 Indian remote companies that also hire global talent. How you can approach these companies, how you can build your career around it, and how I started my journey while working remote. All of this and also the key factors that you should take into account while working or delivering if you're working in the e-commerce niche. So let's get started. Before I talk about the remote culture, let's take a little bit background on how I started my journey working remote and how I efficiently deliver and manage multiple clients. When I started, I had no clue, but I started with the social media accounts like LinkedIn and Facebook. So there are innumerable groups on Facebook that you can join, and that is just one small medium or small channel that you can utilize when you're working remote. Also, I started working as a freelancer, and there are multiple freelancing accounts. Now, back in the days, I guess 9 to 10 years back, when I started as a freelancer, freelancing was considered as a side hustle. But today the scenario has changed. Why it has changed? Because more and more people want flexibility. More and more people think that while they are working remote or working as a freelancer, it gives them that extra edge to explore their skill set without proving to some set of people that they can deliver as expected. So today's freelancing platforms like Upwork or freelancer.com, they promote more working full-time on these platforms or maybe on contract basis, and the amount you can earn from these platforms is huge. I understand that they charge a huge amount or a service fees which everybody cannot afford, but people who started early, for them it's not a big deal because they understand that the value that they get from these platforms is huge. There are multiple small and medium-sized businesses that still rely on these platforms because the trust that comes through these platforms cannot come when you approach people one-to-one. Now, most people say that we will help you build that digital brand, your personal brand, which is fine. Most people are able to do it in this digital world. But can you imagine for a starter or for a fresher, is it financially viable to build your personal brand so quickly that can build a trust in the market? You need huge capital for that. And if you do not have that capital, these freelancing platforms give you an opportunity to invest a little bit amount but provide your services for the skill set and get a good value for them. Initially, you might charge a little low because when you charge a little low, you get better chances of getting those projects. But over the time, you can increase that amount, and as and when your profile grows, your online reputation grows, the amount of income also grows, and the amount that you charge on a per hour rate also grows. Almost people, what they do, they work on multiple projects, and if you're able to handle say 5 projects in a day, then why not deliver 5 projects? As such, when you work in a company that gives you a high package, they demand 15 to 16 hours of your working in a day. In an IT company, people slog for 16 to 17 hours in a day and they have hectic schedules. So while working as a freelancer, if you can manage those multiple projects, there is no harm in it because that gives you little bit flexibility. You are not dependent on one single project, and if one goes, then you still have the other options. The very first client that I had was not from an IT based company, but nevertheless I thought that even if I'm not getting a technical project, I will take it. It was an overall management for this content writing company, and it was a full-time work. I managed that whole project so efficiently. Not only I was able to charge a huge amount for that management, management process. It also gave me an edge to quickly deliver something that I was so good at. So my skill sets for IT, not only the technical part but the non-technical part, because you need non-technical managers as well. When you need non-technical managers in the IT industry or in the industry, for the remote culture also you need non-technical managers. So what I did, I clubbed my IT deliveries with a non-management profile, which helped me gain more projects, and ultimately I was able to earn more income as compared to people when they only focus on freelancing or only closing clients one-to-one. So we will also discuss later in the video how to efficiently close these clients, because what I believe, I was zero at sales when I started, and I thought closing a client would be very difficult for me because I'm not good at sales. But my thought process changed, because gradually when I started, I never took it as sales as such, but I thought that when you're selling a product, it is sales. But when you're selling your services, it's not a sale. Don't take it as a sale. The day I thought that I won't take, when I'm pitching someone for my services, it's a pitch. I need to showcase that, I am the best option for them. And it is not a sale. It is not something that you are selling. You are just exchanging value for money. When I started my very first project with this content writing company, I made some huge mistakes, because when you talk about remote culture, it is very important that you retain long-term association with your clients. And I was not very sure about it at that time. This association with this content writing company only lasted for 18 months. I should have greater soft skills, which I built gradually, and with these soft skills, or using these soft skills, I could retain clients later on. But this very first client that I let go, later on I realized I should not have let them go so easily, and might be working with them for long term, because that is what the industry experience teaches us. So if you are starting out as a fresher and you have no idea, then probably going into a regular job would be a good idea rather than going to a remote option. Because though I'm working as a remote person for such a long time, but anybody who's not been in the industry doesn't have any idea about how the industry functions, how to talk to your clients, how to close the clients, or what are the best communication skills, how to effectively manage your work. All this you only learn when you get into the industry, if it's 9-to-5 job or any other job that you take. So if you are not aware of how to deliver projects, make sure you join a company where you can learn how to efficiently manage these projects, how to efficiently deliver those projects. Once you are aware of the whole cycle that is involved, right from the scratch of taking up a new project, learning about the project, and then delivering it end to end, that is the stage when you can feel confident enough to talk to your client, close them, or even manage their projects for a long term. You showcase your skills, or when you deliver quality, money is just a byproduct. You take up more projects which are like short term, and then again go and pitch more clients, or either take a path where you can retain long-term association with the same client that reduces your marketing costs and the effort to approach multiple people again and again, make that same effort repetitively. So reduce that effort of reaching so many people again, closing them, and again making that effort of proving yourself, rather than retain that same client. So the cost of acquisition reduces, you don't have to prove them your worth, and gradually you build a relationship that you can take through a long-term association. My first client that I could take long-term was this e-commerce seller. They were selling pet products in the US, and I'm working with them till date. The very first project was a team of 10 or 15 people in the team, and when I started working with them, I had no idea on how everything works. I gradually learned how to manage the admin part, the operations part, the technical part, or using those using so many tools that were required. But when I started, within 6 months I realized I cannot depend on one project. So just taking that same niche, e-commerce, pet products, I started approaching other clients, and within 6 to 8 months I had landed more than 2-3 clients. I am still with one of them. It depends in long run who you can manage that relationship with, or who supports that remote culture, who gives you the flexibility. So when we talk about remote culture, the very first aspect is to retain your clients long term. Second aspect is when most people already know that there is no operation cost, or there is no infrastructure cost, or at least if there is any infrastructure cost, it is very minimum. The operation cost reduces considerably, and the time to commute, people go to Gurgaon from one place to another, take 2 hours to travel. So contributing 4 hours of your day just to travel to office, rather than utilize that and spend more time on working, or maybe on your life. So the remote culture on its own gives you an edge over the industry. Now people still have that taboo in their mind that remote working won't work, and I understand, because most people want to work in person. But if you make this efficient, you make the communication efficient, because when you're sitting in a cubicle next to people who are working with you, it's very easy to communicate with them in comparison to a remote working, and that that is there. But still there are tools like you can use chat to quickly communicate, you can use asynchronous methods, you can find out best possible ways to do that. So in past 9 years I have managed to close multiple clients, have done more than 6 to 7,000 calls with clients, but I'm including my IT experience as well. I have delivered more than 1,000 projects working remotely, and managed some clients that are on full-time and on a retainer basis. Some are part-time. The preference is always on a full-time retainer basis clients, because that gives you an edge. And apart from that, it also encourages so many women who leave their jobs. So why this remote culture helps? It helps those women who find it difficult to manage their work-life balance, and they can obviously sit at home and deliver those projects so that they can have their own income and have a financial freedom. So there are so many merits to remote working. But yes, people prefer in working to that 9 to 5, but that's your choice. If you feel comfortable on a 9 to 5 job, put in more time to meeting people and socializing with people in your office time, then that's up to you. It worked really well, and I have also seen so many students, so many professionals of fan companies and man companies coming up in the remote culture. I was amazed to see this. So let's have a look on those students and those professionals who jumped into remote working, leaving their traditional jobs.
Now you all know that I always promote remote work and open source and all these other things. So pays, let's say 4 to 5 times base pay as a student who is just starting out. They can earn 4 to 5 times, like 60-70 lakhs per annum to 1 crore per annum base pay, plus stocks and other benefits as a student, as compared to working at a fan company in India. Not fan company outside India or in the United States or whatever, no, in India. So they're like, Kunal, okay, yes, there's so much amazing benefits in terms of like the money part and the experience. The fan India jobs, superior to remote work. Now, the short answer is absolutely not. Remote work will always be superior than
So I worked at Goldman Sachs for around 1.5 years, and I've also cracked a remote job offer for around 4 CR. If you haven't checked out that video, you can click right here. And so I feel I've seen both sides of the coin. And having this experience firsthand, I wanted to make a video around what it's like working for an on-site job in India in a big tech company or in finance, compared to working in a company remotely right from the comfort of your home. With that, let's get hired in a startup. The reason being you're not being spoon-fed, you actually don't have any seniors who can help you out in the office. You're pretty much on your own, given a task, and then you have to figure out everything about that task. bugs. If there are bugs or issues, you're probably the one who's solving them, and hence you understand the whole system end to end. There's usually not a lot of dependency on other teams, which is very common in big tech. You own the product end to end, and that usually leads to a higher learning curve. Personally, in my experience, I've seen things move very slowly when you're in a big company. You're basically a very small part of a very big machine, and hence it's very easy to become complacent, chill throughout the day, and not work as much. I'm not saying everyone does this, but I'm saying there is a path for you to do it. Versus in a remote job, there's no real path for you to be complacent. As soon as you start becoming lazy, you'll probably get fired, and hence there's no real incentive for buttering up your manager or pretending to show you've achieved something that you haven't. And this is very common in big tech. I know this because I've done this. It's very easy to please your manager by not working as hard and projecting that you or your team have created more impact than they actually have. Big tech is very big. It's very hard to know what a specific person is.
फुल टाइम रिमोट डेवलपर फ्रीलांसिंग के बाद आई नो आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिला एज अ फुल टाइम वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग आज मोनाली इंडिया में रह के एक यूएस बेस्ड कंपनी के लिए रिमोटली काम कर रहे हैं और 3.5 लाख से 4 लाख रुपए महीना कमा रहे हैं बहुत बड़ी बात है
See the top 5 remote companies that are placed globally. Let's see the top 5 Indian companies that are 100% remote. these students or professionals have switched to remote working. So you can build your remote career. These are the highlights of building a remote career. You have a global reach, so you can reach out to everybody. Whether it's talent, whether it is companies, you can reach to everybody. Women can come up with a career that is sustainable. So when you're working remote, you have a sustainable career. 80% of women in India leave their jobs because they are not able to manage. Also, there are so many administrative and operations work which can cater to graduates. So if you are not a tech person or not very technical, you are not aware of marketing skills, because if you go to the market, the topmost skills for the industry in remote career is only either tech, that is IT, or maybe if you are not a tech person, then the second thing comes to marketing. So if you can offer marketing as services or you are a good developer, then people think that that's the only option. But there is a huge amount of option for people who are in admin or operation. So you just need basic skills of computers and you can earn a very good money. Now most graduates who go for a 9-to-5 job and are not able to earn much, they can switch to this mode where they are working in a remote culture. They are offering these admin and operations part for which you need a little bit amount of computer skills and you can deliver. So let's see what the industry experts say about the graduate jobs and how the value that they get is very less.
But we were very convinced that there's a huge gap in the market.
Correct.
Right? If you look at engineering, is overserved in India. You have IITs who do a really good job at the undergrad and at the postgrad level. You have many other colleges.
Yeah.
Right? But if you look at business education, especially at the undergrad level, there are very few colleges that do a good job.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd say maybe like a handful, like maybe a few, 2 or 3. And I feel like, so let me give you this metric. There are 1 crore students who enter into higher education every year.
Wow.
1 crore,
Yeah.
right, every year. Out of which, guess how many are engineers?
I don't know.
Just 10 lakh.
Oh,
Engineers are just 10 lakh.
I would peg it at so much higher.
Yeah, it's just 10 lakhs.
Okay.
And then MBA is another 2 lakhs.
Yeah.
Law, fashion, design, combine all of that, it's 3 lakhs.
Okay.
That means 85 lakhs is still left.
Yeah.
And those 85 lakh students are studying BCom, BBA and BA. That's the real market,
That's crazy.
right? And let me ask you another question. Out of these 85 lakh people, how many students, when they graduate, do you think get a job that pays at least 5 lakh rupees a year?
That's less. That's like, I would peg it at like 10-15%.
No, it's 12,000, which is 0.3%.
No.
Yeah. That's the reality of the Indian education system.
That's crazy.
So 85 lakh BCom, BBA, BA students, only 12,000 getting a job that pays more than 5 lakh rupees.
So most of the graduates in our country, earn very less amount. If you are a graduate and you're working remote, you can earn a huge amount. Why and how? We will show you that in the next videos. But for now, all those graduates who think that their income can be less, remote working on its own can increase your income. So if you are in an e-commerce niche, what are the key areas you should take into consideration before approaching anybody? So either you are doing a cold approach, that is a cold email, a cold calling or a cold messaging. Either way it is, you can't approach just offering service straightforward because that won't catch attention, especially when there are millions who are offering such services. So how would the client judge or trust you? So the best way is to do a pre-hand research about the clients that you are approaching. I have been able to crack all these 3 cold approaches very well, so that once you are able to research well and then tell them that exact service that you are going to offer to these clients, whether it's you are offering marketing, you're offering some technical services, or you are offering them automations, AI based tools, or even developing some AI for them. In case you are not aware about your client, then approaching them won't make any sense, because most of the times they will compare you with others, because there are so many people already there in the market. And most of these small and medium businesses that we try to approach in the e-commerce sector trust mostly these freelancing platforms. And even if you try to work outside these freelancing platforms, it is not a problem. It's only that you research well enough. Once you have researched, you're making the pitch and you're able to showcase that you're adding value with the services that you're offering, that makes closing them very easy. And always have this in mind that you will have a long-term association. Now there would be many people who would still not want to do that, or who will not still understand your value, but that does not discourage you to do the same process, because once you have a long-term association, this process on its own reduces as compared to a short-term thought process where you deliver something, you are not good at it, and then you stop working with them. But there are clients also who do not understand that, and I know when we are working in the industry, it goes both ways. Both have to come to a common consensus to work. So probably if you are just a fresher, try to work with those companies where you can understand this whole procedure, how to close clients. I have spoken to more than 6,000 to 7,000 clients, worked on more than 1,000 projects, delivering them efficiently. Some of them were retainers, some retained for long-term association, some were part-time, and some did not, we did not end up working for a very long period. And there was some lack from my side or as a team, and to learn from those failures. And as and when you learn from your failures, you try to come up with solutions that are better from your previous solutions. That gives you an edge in the market. So try to provide these services when you are aware of the whole cycle on how to learn, research, deliver, and then retain them for a long term. So if it's an e-commerce niche, mostly people offer is marketing or the technical side, but most people are not aware that there is an admin and operations work also to be done, and you can charge a huge amount for that. I'm not saying the amount is compared to the technical or the marketing part, but yes, that amount is at least better than the salary that you get as a graduate. So down the lane in 5 to 6 years or 10 years, if you are not a computer person, if you are not a little bit tech savvy, then for you to sustain in the market is going to be very difficult, or even to get a job will be very difficult. So the other key areas for the e-commerce niche is learning those tools. So whether it's a keyword research tool, a product research tool, or the product pricing research tool, before you start working, make sure you learn and you know about these tools. Because if you talk to 10 clients, 10 different clients might talk about a new tool. You can't afford to say that I have worked on this tool but I have not worked on the other tool. You need to have knowledge, overall knowledge, when you're offering a 360-degree solution. If you're not offering a 360-degree solution but still to work with multiple clients efficiently, either you are someone who can quickly adapt to a new tool. If you're not that person, then make sure you learn multiple tools before you offer your services, because that gives you an edge in the market over the others. Other than learning these tools or the API automations or the marketing tools or marketing on its own, you have to focus on the demographics. So if you're offering your services to global clients, if you're not aware how the US market behaves or how the UK market behaves, so demographics, understanding the whole life cycle, understanding the whole process is very important if you really want to work with a client for long term. If you have a short term vision, then it's up to you, because you will have to repeat this process again and again of talking to more clients and then closing them, because you won't be able to retain them. Hope this video was beneficial to anybody who is looking to start a remote career or who is not aware about the remote remote culture, or who thinks that remote was only for the pandemic period, but that just accelerated the process for people like us. So I hope you have a bigger insight on remote working culture and e-commerce niche and how to offer your services and retain them for long term. If you still have any questions, please add your comments below and I will try to respond to that. And if you want me to cover up more topics or as such, please do again share your comments and subscribe to the channel for more of such videos. Next, I will talk about the 4 focus areas of e-commerce niche, that is administration, operations, marketing and the technical aspect of e-commerce niche at length, that I will also cover in my course. But yes, I hope the video will be beneficial. Thank you so much.